A factory in Holland is 3D printing 500 tons of steak a month, and they're in cahoots with Israel. There are 14 U.S. cities who have a target of banning meat by 2030. And is Klaus Schwab, the WEF, and the United Nations agenda advancing more than we realize? All this and more today on the Endtime Show. Welcome to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. So happy you've joined us today. We're taking your calls. The number to join us is 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. We'd love for you to give us a call. We're talking about a number of things. One of Doug's favorite subject in honor of his birthday. That was a few days ago. So, Doug, did anybody tell you happy birthday?
A lot of people tell me happy birthday. Thank you very much, by the way, for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it.
I know you loved it.
Yeah,
a lot.
It was great.
So if you missed it, you can say happy birthday again in the comments and let Doug know. But 3D printed steaks is the highlight of today's show, at least the beginning. And that's only the surface of what that story is talking about. We're going to get into how that's tied to Klaus Schwab, the WEF, and the United Nations and their agenda for what they intend to implement by just a few years from now, 2030, Doug.
Yeah. And you know, the WEF meets again, yearly they meet, and Monday is that day. So they come together on Monday of next week, I believe, and begin their WEF meetings that they have every year. So that's coming up, and this story hit the news right, about 3 days ago really is when this came out. But it's funny that you mentioned birthday, because guess where I did go for the birthday? I went and got a big steak. So that's one of the things that I do love. And so when I hear stories like this, it kind of makes me laugh, because I don't want steaks that are made out of chickpea and stuff like that. So
no doubt.
Yeah.
Another thing you love is First Cup coffee, as I understand it. I hear you drinking it more than ever before because you just can't put a cup down.
It's true.
It's true. Well, that may be in part because First Cup is a Christian-owned Patriot coffee company, which are all the things Doug loved, on top of the fact that they're from right here in the great state of Texas. They've got 11 different roasts. Which one's your favorite, Doug?
Right now, I think that Boston Commons is really my favorite so far of what I've tried.
All right.
So that's what we're having today, and I really enjoy that one. So
that's your favorite? All right. Well, they've got 11 different roasts, each one named after a specific piece of American history, and you can get your favorite blend. You can get it either ground, whole bean, or the pods. If you are one of those Keurig people, that's fine. Ditch the grocery store coffee that's been sitting there for 2 years. Go to firstcup.com, use code ENDTIME to get 10% off. If you subscribe, they'll give you another 10% off. So go to firstcup.com, use code ENDTIME to get that discount today. All right, Doug, so when I first see this story about Holland printing, I remember when the 3D printer came out, or at least when it went viral, and they were printing random stuff, pens and also, houses I've seen, and now they're printing edible food, steak.
Yeah.
500 tons a month right now.
Yeah. It seems hard to believe. I remember seeing growing up, I watched Star Trek growing up, and they had a replicator, and that replicator would make food. And that's what this is. It's like, it was telling prophecy on that show, because they would just go to the replicator, push in what they want, and boom, they would get a plate of food there. And so now they're replicating food, not even based on animal product. This is on plant-based products, Vince. And I don't even think that sounds appealing to me. I say I don't think. I know it doesn't sound appealing to me. But, so this story that came out, it came out on January 6th. And it talks about this being a groundbreaking move, and it redefines the meat industry, is what it says. A factory in Holland has embraced additive manufacturing technology, commonly known as 3D printing, to produce an astonishing 500 tons of steak per month. I don't know who's eating this, Vince, but they're producing it. It says this revolutionary approach to meat production is spearheaded by Redefine Meat, which is an Israeli plant-based startup that aims to offer sustainable, there's a key word, sustainable and high-quality alternatives to traditional animal-based meat products. So they've got a major distribution deal with this situation here of making this meat and meat alternatives, and they're saying that they are paving the way for a new era. Now, like you said before, we know that this is one of the agendas of the WEF and Agenda 2030, which is a United Nations agenda. Of course, WEF is just one of the branches of the UN. And so,
now, when we say this is one of the items, are you saying that 3D meat printing is one of the items, or is it something else?
Well, they talked about not only 3D meat before. Remember, they said that you would have to reduce your meat intake because of green gases. Because of the cows, because of when we eat it, everything has to do with making the earth more environmental friendly. So, one of the things about it, Vince, is they've pushed this thing to say that you'll have less meat by the year 2030, and that you may eat no meat or even have dairy products like milk and things like that. So this is part of their agenda. It's part of the Agenda 2030. And we have companies that are, going to be like, I guess, leading the way with this. So we've got a commercial for this, and I thought it might be fun to play that commercial.
Before we do, Doug,
yes.
I want to say, I want to ask the question, what do you think about Redefine Meat? That's what the specific organization is that is doing this from Israel, and they're working with this factory in Holland, 3D printing 500 tons of steak what do you think of that? Would you be willing to try it, or do you want the real stuff? Let's hear what you have to say. If you want the real stuff, put in the comments 100% beef. Doug, which one are you going to put in the comments?
I'm 100% beef.
I know you are.
And I'm glad you asked that question before we show the commercial, because I want everybody's opinion before they see that.
Oh, yeah. Then when they see it, we'll ask it again. Maybe they'll change some hearts out there.
Maybe so.
Let's check it out.
All right.
Meat, the most complex culinary product crafted by nature over millions of years. What is it about meat that makes us love it so much? Is it the flavors? The texture? Is it the memory of the best steak you ever had? Meat is a hallmark of our past. It's a staple of our lives today. But what about the future? What if we could give the world better meat? New meat. Meat that's delicious, environmentally friendly, and kind to animals. New meat. Precisely the same, entirely different. We use cutting-edge technology to replace the need of animals. Starting with natural plant-based ingredients, crafted and optimized using AI and machine learning, and brought to life with advanced manufacturing and 3D printing. By collaborating with the world's leading butchers and chefs, now every meat dish can become even better to satisfy any carnivore, vegan, or flexitarian. Having unlocked the secret to creating great new meat, we're on a journey to become the world's largest meat company. Redefine Meat.
So there you go, Vince. I mean, that's...
what in the world's a flexitarian?
I have no idea.
Is somebody that's a vegetarian only on the weekends?
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard that.
I asked you what that
now.
was earlier, and you flexed your arm muscle and said...
I nearly ripped my jacket off. Wow. Does that change anybody's opinion out there? I mean, there were a few shots that looked pretty good, like, maybe a Gordon Ramsay show or something like that. Does that change your opinion? Are you still 100% beef, or would you give it a shot? Let us know in the comments. All right, Doug. Wow.
Well, Vince, there may be some restaurants already that are serving things like, I've heard for years that there's a local restaurant, well, I guess it's a worldwide restaurant really, that serves soy meat for, their hamburgers. And that may be the case. I don't know, because I go to places that I know they're serving real beef in the burgers and get my hamburgers there. And so the thing about this is, and I don't want to look at this lightly, because this isn't something to be taken lightly. This is something that they want to take away from you. Remember, world government, Vince, is about control, control, control. And here they are trying to control what you're going to consume and how you're going to consume that. And, you know, I love the way that they made it animal friendly and showed the guy putting the hat on the cow's horn there and being friendly to the animal, because that's how, you know, of course, they want to try to get you to buy into this. And remember, that's going to play a big part too in the end time, because we talked about animal activists and how they'll react to Israel having sacrifices start back up. So this is all kind of moving our mindset that way, being more friendly to the environment, being more friendly to the animals, you know, cutting down our green gases. All those things are part of this agenda, this 2030 agenda. That's the whole thing about the 15-minute cities, you know, cutting down, reducing green gases. So anyway, it's not odd when you see that there are 14 U.S. cities already that have tried to target on banning meat by 2030.
And we're going to get into that, Doug, but here's where you can help us. So this narrative is being fed by the masses that meat is bad and you know, factory farming is bad, and there is an element of that is true, but the agenda that they're pushing for 3D printed meat, cricket burgers, things like that, is not necessarily good. So we need your help, because Facebook is pushing this narrative, CNN's pushing this narrative, all the mainstream, it's not just left or right, the big news corporations, they're pushing this. And not only are we talking about this specific story, but we're going to tell you how Bible prophecy ties into this. So here's where you can help. Share this video, stop what you're doing, share the video, give us a heart, and then make sure you're engaging in the chat section. Comment. Do you like the idea of 3D printed meat or cricket burgers, or do you want 100% beef and things like that? Let us know what you're thinking as we go along in conversation here, and of course reply to people. All that stuff helps us out a lot. So share, comment, and heart the video. We'd appreciate it very much. Now, before we get into the globalist stuff, I got to tell you, we're going to show you the details of this, but first, they want you to eat this 3D printed meat. They want you to eat the cricket burgers, but our friends at Backyard Butchers are not into that. They're saying no thank you. They're delivering American raised and harvested meat from right here in American backyards to dinner tables across our nation. And they're going to give you a deal. BackyardButchers.com. Get an extra 20% off your entire order when you use code Endtime. With over 500,000 happy customers, they'll make sure your orders are delivered right on time every single month. And Klaus Schwab just shivers every time you hit the checkout button there. Go to backyardbutchers.com/endtime, buy American meat today, and get 20% off your entire order. Now, Doug, you just said 14 U.S. cities?
Yeah, in the United States. Now, who would have thought that?
Are they all in California and New York?
I don't know exactly where they are, but I don't believe they'd be in Texas.
Maybe Austin.
Yeah, maybe Austin, because they're a little...
Well, they're barbecuing Austin even.
Right.
But anyway, 14 U.S. cities target a banning meat by 2030.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not just meat either, Vince. They talk about dairy consumption, and they talk about even in this article, it goes back and it talks about you would have 0 privately owned vehicles. So this goes back to what I was talking about a while ago with the 15-minute cities. They want to get rid of all these things that cause these gases. And, one of the things that it says, which would be impossible for us, is that you could even only be allowed to fly, what is it? I think it says, I don't know what the kilometers are, but you could only fly short distances, and you could only do 3 years per person. So every 3 years you could fly is what they're wanting to do even now. And so
less than 1,500 kilometers every 3 years.
Every 3 years. So you had to fly less than that. So we probably put more on mileage and airplanes than that here at Endtime, because we travel all over the place. Dave travels and does these conferences, sets up Bible studies at the conferences and everything, and so we're traveling more than that for just Endtime Ministries and what we do here. But they're wanting to make this something that they can control all of us by 2030. It goes back to the 2030 agenda. It's amazing how things just keep coming up, and we just keep seeing more and more of it. But they're trying to produce it, Vince, in a positive light to try to keep us really from seeing that, they just want to basically control every aspect of your life. But, you know, I mean, this ties in really to the one world government, to the mark of the beast, all those things, because we know that that's one of the things they want to do with the digital currency. So when you think about digital currency, they want to control your spending. They want to control what you're spending your money on, and they could keep you from buying meat. If you bought your quota of meat for the month, they could shut down your account. Or if you had flown over your miles that they want you to, they could shut down your account. So all this is very biblical. And I think that's one of the things that we try to do every time we come to do a program, is we try to show you how all this is involved in the agenda of Satan and his one world government beast.
Doug, this organization is C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group. Their target, which you alluded to, 0 meat consumption, 0 dairy consumption, 3 new clothing items per person per year, 0 private vehicles owned, and 1 short haul return flight, which is less than 1,500 kilometers every 3 years in purpose. That is their that's their agenda. That's what they're trying to push forward.
Yeah.
And here's some of the cities. There's 100 cities worldwide. Some of the ones in the U.S. Austin, called it.
Yeah, you did.
Boston, Chicago. Here's one we didn't call. Houston, which we should have.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, Miami, New Orleans, New York City, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Portland, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Seattle. Those are some of the ones in the U.S.
Those don't surprise me at all.
No, well, the 2 Texas ones do.
Yeah. Well, you know, you wouldn't think Houston, but Houston, I guess, is getting a little bit like Austin. So, you know, we have a lot of folks that are moving into this area of Texas, too.
So what does that mean?
Places.
That means that city council members, that's kind of an important thing, Doug. Because you think the city council, if they're part of this group that's with this global agenda of Austin, they're working towards banning these things so that people in these cities can't partake. Well, that's going to do a lot of things, not just control people, but also, Doug, companies that are thriving. People are making money by working at companies that do these things.
Yeah.
That would go away in the cities.
Yeah.
That seems impossible, but it's part of what their agendas are. It's part of the policies they're trying to pass.
You think about America and our love for our automobiles, and how much, especially here in Texas, how much we love our cars, and we need them to travel just within Texas. I mean, I saw somebody put a map of Germany inside Texas the other day, and the whole country of Germany, you know, Texas just engulfed it because it's so big. I know Sister Baxter used to have one of her favorite things to say when we would be traveling through Texas. She would say, the sun has rose and the sun has set, and we have not left Texas yet. And she would say that a lot when we'd be traveling, because Texas is so big, and it's true. The sun has rose and the sun has set, and sometimes we'd still be on the same highway we were on. So, you know, it's a big place, and we need vehicles to travel. Dave just traveled down to South Texas this past weekend, did a conference there, and that's like, man, that's like an 8-hour drive if you drive down there. I've driven that many times. So it tells you how much we need our vehicles here. So these are hard to imagine, but 2 years ago, if you would have told me they were making meat on a 3D scale, on a 3D machine, I would have thought that was impossible too, and here we are.
Yep. And one last headline. The world needs to eat less meat to save the planet, says the United Nations.
Yeah, and that goes as far back as 2019, but they were talking about this. Remember when we were covering this before, we talked about 2016, I think, and 2009 was when they first started talking about it within their own groups. 2016 is when they introduced it to the world. And so they've been talking about this for quite a while, and here we are. A lot of people say they wanted to do this by 2020, but then Trump got elected, and it kind of halted things, and they had to push it a little further. And then I think it went to 2024, and now we're at 2030. It's been pushed back even further. So we'll have to wait and see how this develops, but with everything else that's happening so fast, Vince, it seems like we're moving right along.
Doug, and this is just a small fraction of the world government agenda that they are hoping to implement. We're getting ready to talk about a story in Canada where a reporter got arrested, but before we do, I mean, you know, there are people who can see some of the policies that have happened in Canada over the last 3 or 4 years and see how that could very well happen here in the United States. And we're headed towards a presidential election year. You all know that very well. You've seen it everywhere. One thing that we can be sure of is that 2024 is going to be a turbulent year. You've already seen the impacts of inflation at the pump. I just got to get gas this morning and didn't enjoy that whatsoever. The grocery store, the dollar continues to lose buying power quicker than wages can increase. So how are you protecting your savings from globalist policies being implemented like the one we're about to talk about? Consider diversifying with gold from Birch Gold Group. For decades, gold has been the choice of investors and central banks to hedge against inflation. Now you can own it in a tax-sheltered IRA with the help of Birch Gold. Just visit birchgold.com/endtime, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold so you can pray about your decision and make the best decision for you and your family. They'll help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. And the best part, you don't have to pay a penny out of pocket. So visit birchgold.com/endtime to claim your free info kit. Visit birchgold.com/endtime and secure your savings right now. Doug, what did you think when you saw that the police arrested this reporter in Canada?
Well, when I first saw the story, Vince, I didn't see the video with it. And so when I read the story, it didn't have the impact that the video had. But this doesn't surprise me. Some of the things that we've seen happen, I mean, we know that we're being censored on different things we talk about. But this is in Canada, and this is a reporter that is asking a specific question. And the guy, I don't know, should we show the video first and let them see this, or should we set it up a little bit?
No, I think we show it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just show the video.
How come the IRGC is not a terrorist group? Why is your government supporting Islamo-Nazis? What? Excuse me. What are you doing?
You're under arrest for assault.
Sir,
Why are you pushing me? You're under arrest for assault.
Who are you?
You're under arrest for assault.
Police.
Police, you're under arrest for
How am I under arrest? You bumped into me.
You pushed into me.
I was just scrubbing. I got my credentials here, and you just bumped into me. So excuse
Police, you're under arrest.
me. What is your name and your badge?
Come over
What
here
is
for
your
a
name and
second.
your badge?
You've been told you're under arrest?
Why am I under arrest? He blocked my way. What? I was just scrumming Christian Freeland.
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge
For
number?
assaulting a police officer.
How is that possible?
Okay? Because
You assaulted me 3 years ago when blackface was back.
that was very aggressive what was happening.
You mean I was asking questions aggressively?
No, your actions were. You were almost pushing everybody over. That's how it appears.
Lincoln, you got this on video, right? He's saying I'm pushing people over? That's an absolute falsehood.
There were feet were shuffling.
So now it appeared that way. That's what you're saying, officer? It appeared I was pushing people. I didn't touch a single person.
That was a little bit aggressive for what was happening. Get that. You're under arrest. Please
Okay.
take the microphone out of my face.
Well, I'd like an ongoing record of this.
Can I have the microphone? Can I have the microphone? Can I have the microphone? Can you give?
I'm not officer. Take your hand out. Why am I under arrest? I'm just doing my job.
Resist. You don't need to resist.
I don't have.
You don't have to say anything. You know the drill.
I have nothing to hide, officer. Welcome to Black Faces Canada. This is what they do to journalists. I was merely scrumming Minister Freeland, and a RCMP officer blocked me, and evidently this is now a trumped-up charge of assault, folks. I didn't come here to cause any trouble. I came here to do my job, and now I'm handcuffed. This is your Canada now, folks. You know, this is the Gestapo taking blackface's orders. Outrageous. And meanwhile, the Islam.
So there you go, Vince. They arrested him, took him to jail, and this is a reporter for Rebel News Network. He was arrested on Monday. He was asking Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland a question, and you saw the video footage there. He's walking along with her. I see reporters do this all the time, and this member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police come up, and he just kind of runs into the reporter and then arrests the reporter for assault on a police officer. That's what he said in that video. If you couldn't hear it, there was so much going on. He said, "You're under the arrest for assault of a police officer." So he didn't even see the guy walking up, who really came up and kind of put his shoulder into the reporter.
Yeah, it looked like a bad pick in a game of basketball.
Yeah, exactly. It was really bad, and it's on camera. That's what blows my mind, is they don't even mind doing this like right out in the open now. They're not trying to hide it. They arrested him on trumped up charges, like he said. And the question was, in case you didn't hear what the question was, why do you refuse to label Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, he said the IGRC, as a terrorist organization? So he just asked a simple question. It's something that has probably been asked to a lot of, government members. Why are we not calling terrorists terrorists? I mean, we see what's going on right now with what Hamas did in Israel and the people that are protesting against Israel going in there and fighting Hamas in Palestine. So we're seeing all this, and the media is not calling Hamas the terrorist aggressors. They're making this more about the Palestinian people and saying that, Israel's occupying that. So imagine walking up to somebody and asking a question like that here in the United States and being arrested for assault on a police officer because somebody runs into you. And that's what happened to this journalist. So,
well, if that was as surprising to you as it was to us, because that's just totally insane, and it does seem like that stuff can happen here. We've seen some of it, Doug, and more and more things are developing. Let us know. How surprising was that to you? Type in the words, "Oh, Canada," if you were surprised by that. And if you think that it could happen here in the United States. Doug, was that a clean or dirty move by the cop?
That was a dirty move, absolutely, 100%.
I think good law enforcement, they don't appreciate things like that. It gives them a bad name.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that comes back to mind and ties this in also to Klaus Schwab and WEF is, remember, he said that most of the cabinet in Canada have gone through his Young Global Leaders School training, and that he's infiltrated governments around the world, and Canada was one of his prize infiltrations in a video that we showed a couple of years ago. But this shouldn't surprise us, because we've been watching Canada do stuff like this for a while.
We saw the truckers. We saw the preacher that was arrested.
Yeah.
And we
had him on our program.
Yes. And so, is that coming to Texas? Is that coming to the United States? We don't know. We've seen some things that are quite alarming, Doug. We know that world government is advancing. We'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. We're taking your calls. The number to join us is 877-INTIME, 877-363-8463.
A voice spoke to me and said, "I've got something I want to show you." I was so sure God had talked to me, and I was stunned by what I saw.
A direct fulfillment of this over 2,500-year-old prophecy. The United States will stand with Israel.
Why haven't I ever seen this before?
1/3 of humanity will die. What do these beasts symbolize?
The lion, the bear, the leopard.
The combined beast from Revelation 13 represents the end-time government of the Antichrist. Understanding the end time.
Now streaming on Endtime Plus and available to order at endtime.com/UET. Go to endtime.com/UET or call 800-ENDTIME.
What if you could understand Bible prophecy? Dave Robbins, the host of the Endtime Show's TV and radio programs, is holding a free prophecy conference near you. Gain peace and understanding about what the Bible says concerning end-time prophecy. Call 1-800-ENDTIME or go to endtime.com/events to see when Dave will be in a location near you.
Welcome back to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We have an exciting weekend coming up here in Dallas. Dave and Jana Robbins will be in Garland, Texas, specifically in the Dallas area. I'm going to be there. A number of our team members will be there. Judy Baxter will be there this coming Saturday and Sunday, January 13th and 14th. Dave will be presenting a brand new lesson, The Green Horse and World War III, on Saturday night, and then Breaking Prophecy News on Sunday night. Both are at 6 p.m. You can get additional details at endtime.com/events, or give us a call if you'd like help over the phone. 800-ENDTIME is the number to call us about the conference or anything else. But if you want to be on the show, we are taking your calls. 877 End Time's the number to call for that. 877-363-8463. And we're going to go to the phones now to New York. It's time for the Joe Show. Joe, welcome to the End Time Show.
How are you guys doing today?
Better than we deserve.
Yeah, that's good. No, you deserve good stuff. You do good work. You know, it's getting insane. I pay attention to a lot of what's going on, and I watched. First you go to the supermarket. Excuse me. Everything is bioengineered. Breads, cookies, everything you buy, it says on the label, it is bioengineered. I don't know what they're doing, but bread doesn't taste like bread anymore. I don't know about the whole country, but here in New York, it tastes like garbage. And even a cookie, you can't get a cookie that tastes good. So, you know, I would like to get my hands on Klaus Schwab, have a visit with him, because I think him and his mentality is behind this whole thing. Artificial stakes. But you see, the whole world is being duped that there's such a thing as AI. And I keep saying this to people, there is no such thing as a machine thinking. It's a group of probably a few thousand very, very well-paid leftist technicians that have built this cloud. And companies left and right are buying into this artificial intelligence, and I've watched ministries. Yesterday, I forget the name of the ministry, that how they're using AI and they're investigating AI and developing their ministry. Mm-hmm. Hello?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. We're being duped. We're being duped. People think it's a real thing. They think machines can think. No, that's a lie. Machines can't think. It's programming done by the leftists. And, you know, good old Schwab and his idiots there that get together, they've probably got their hand involved in that. And we know, you know, China gets a lot of funding into them and manipulates them. You know, all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. But we who see the truth, we gotta be talking about it. I talk to believers that don't know anything. Oh, there's nothing wrong with AI. Well, wait till, well, you know, companies are buying these chips, AI chips, and eventually these leftists are going to they're going to be able to influence the decision making in all corporations around the world. Mm-hmm. Hello, does that sound a little like fitting into the one world system?
Well, you know, also, Joe, you know, we've heard people like Elon Musk talk about how this is dangerous for the world, and even said, hey, we need to put the brakes on AI until we understand it better, because of the fact that, you know, it's being used in so many strange ways right now. But, you know, one of the things that I look at, Joe, when we talk about AI is in Revelation 13, when it talks about how the image of the beast is worshipped. And I can see how AI could play into this. And not just that, but even the miracles that the false prophet does, it could be generated by AI. If you've seen some of the things they've been able to create, and that's looking further down the road from even right now. They could use AI right now to push a narrative. If they had something that they wanted to accuse somebody of, they could just AI do a deep fake with it, and then voila, you've got video footage or even you know, photograph footage of people in incriminating situations, because they can create that in AI. And so those are things that are dangerous, I think, even you know, besides eating meat that's made on a 3D printer. I think that those things are even more dangerous.
Buy a lot of that meat, yeah.
Right.
But here's the thing. You see, more and more companies are buying into this. Mm-hmm. That, like, see, here's the groundwork of it. I was in telecom. I know a little bit about communications. There's no such thing as a machine that can think. Mm-hmm. It's programming done by humans. Right. But they want us to think that this is a superior intelligence. Like that, you showed a thing a while ago about they want to make a new Bible.
Right.
You know, they want to come up with a new Jesus. You know, that's all satanic.
Right.
And the thing of it is now, what if they're influencing all the manufacturing and all the decision-making is being decided with these AI chips? Well, hello, is that going to, you know, another step totally to total control of what you see? You just showed a video of this guy in Canada, right? I mean, it was obvious this man was being harassed. But now what if they have the chips and what you see on your screen is changed?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
what is actually taking place during this arrest? Now, the journalist was doing his job, and they're arresting him on a trumped-up charge. But what if it's changed by an AI chip so what goes out to the public is what they want you to see?
Yeah, exactly. That's the danger.
So you see how each thing, and it all goes back to the guys in Davos. They're behind it. They're hundreds of millions of dollars. There are lots of technical people. These programmers. My oldest son is a programmer, a web programmer. He's a bright young man, and he's a believer. He's a born again, spirit-filled believer. And he said, "Dad, you wouldn't believe how fast the technology is changing from his standpoint." So the thing of it is now, okay, we're saying, oh, progress is a good thing, but now when you have someone selling you something that's not real. AI is not real. They're coming from the foundation that it is something. I'm telling you that it is nothing but leftist technicians building these blockchain clouds. So there's tons and tons of information. So when you use it or you play games with it, it seems like a real thing.
Right.
It is a real thing. It's a group of leftist technicians that know how to do this technical work. But they're convinced, okay, let's get rid of, when we get rid of all the cows, let's get rid of all these technicians with them, because this is insanity.
Yeah.
This is insanity.
Absolutely.
And Satan is a deceiver, and he's convincing people. When I see ministers talking about, buying into these AI chips to develop their ministry, hello, is that a wake-up call?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's invite robots over for dinner. We'll print up some steaks and we'll sit down to. It's insanity.
Yeah, it is.
Joe, we always love hearing from you. Appreciate it so much. God bless you. We'll be praying for you and your wife as always. Thanks for calling. We do have open lines at 877-Endtime, 877-363-8463. Give us a call. What do you think about this 3D printed steak? What do you think about what happened in Canada with that reporter being arrested? We'd love to hear your perspective. Also, don't forget to share this video, comment, and give us a heart. Now, Doug, do you have any more commentary on what happened in Canada before we move on? Because there's another big story we've got to talk about.
Not really, Vince. I mean, we've seen this kind of stuff happen, with the whole situation with Tucker Carlson, when he was trying to get out some more footage of January 6th and how Chuck Schumer said from the Senate floor, Fox News, stop this, keep him from being able to do this. And then, coincident or not, he lost his job that very same week. So,
well, a lot of that footage is out now, Doug.
Yeah, there's
I'm trying to figure
out there
what was so harmful for the public to see.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about today, right?
Right.
Not to hijack what you're trying to say.
No.
Sorry.
But, I mean, we've seen a little bit of it here in our country, and even with censorship with us, where if we're talking about something, I mean, we have to watch how we title the program, because there's certain titles that they'll just take the program down. So, I mean, that stuff is true. It's out there, and we are being censored here, not to the point to where they're coming and knocking on our doors and arresting us yet, but not to say that's not coming.
Yeah.
Because remember, the world government, who gives them his power is seat and great authority? Satan. So the dragon. And so, that's what's going to fuel this thing. And the devil doesn't want the truth to be out there.
Right. All right, we'll go back to the phones now. Going to Utah. Marianne is watching there. Marianne, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Good. My comment would have to be, if we can't drive our vehicles and we have to get on bicycles, to go down to our favorite hamburger place and get a cricket burger with a side of flies I'm not really sure I could even imagine that.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you.
Why not, Marianne?
Well, I just
that
don't
sounds
think
very sustainable.
I just don't think I could handle that. And, it's just so nice to know that Heavenly Father's coming soon. Mm-hmm. We won't have to be into this. Well, we do have to be into it, but holy cow. How sad.
Yeah, that's not wholly 3D printed cow.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I gotta go get me a 3D printed cricket burger.
What about bison? You're in Utah. I mean,
yeah.
3D printed bison might be on the menu one day.
Oh, yeah, and I just don't know if I could ever pass up a side of flies.
Well, all right.
I think Joe and Marianne should run for president. And
there
vice
you go.
president.
I'm headed that direction, so let's go
More
for
common
it.
sense than we hear from our leaders right now. So.
My. Marianne, thanks for your call. We always love hearing from you.
I promise.
We love hearing from you, Marianne. Thanks so much for your call. It is unfortunate that you didn't sing again today, but it's not Doug's birthday anymore.
Right.
So that was last week. Right. If you missed it, say happy birthday in the comments. He told me before the show, he said, "Can we just let this die?" I'm like, well, it's so close. Why would we do that? Going to my home, actually, we better not go to my home state yet. We are up against a break here, and I don't want to have to cut Tara off. Tara, stick around. We'll get you on the other side of the break. We do have open lines at 877 Endtime, 877-363-8463. Doug, before we go to break, what do you want to say?
Well, I mean, just basically what we've been talking about. These things are relevant because of what we see with the world government and the way things are changing so fast and what they want to do to us. Remember, even though you can go and fact check things now and they've retracted from this, there was a statement made by Klaus Schwab that we would own nothing and be happy. So, now try to go and find that statement. You're going to have a hard time finding that, and there's a fact check on it saying he never made that statement. So they can say and do whatever they want to do, but this is all boiling down to it's about control and it's about world government, and that's where these kind of stories are leading to. So they want you to own nothing, Vince, and be happy and eat crickets.
Absolutely. And Dave's going to talk a little bit about what's happening around the world this coming weekend. He's going to be in Garland, Texas, the Dallas area, so we'd love for you to come out and join us. Endtime.com/events. You can get additional details there. He'll be talking about the Green Horse in World War III on Saturday night at 6, and then Breaking Prophecy News on Sunday night at 6. I'll be there. Several other Endtime team members, including Judy Baxter, will be there. So come out if you're in the Dallas area. We'd love to have you. We'll be right back after this break.
They that understand what is taking place will instruct many.
Except a man is born again, he can enter or see the kingdom of God.
I don't care what label you've been given or what label you've given yourself, you are essential. You still matter.
This is a journey, and when we get to the other side of that, that's where our prize is. That's where our reward is.
End time is not going anywhere.
Welcome back to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We are taking your calls, and there's some open lines at 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. We're going to get right to the phones. Tara's in my home state of Indiana. Tara, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hi, nice to talk to you guys.
Likewise.
I have two comments. On New Year's Eve day, my daughter, grandson, and I went to Chicago. we were walking around during the day around downtown and in Millennial Park. And I don't know if you've been to Chicago lately, but they have like these two 50 feet large towers of AI, faces that are always going. Have you seen that? It's called Faces of Chicago.
No, I have not seen it.
So it's like just an image of people's faces, and I just was thinking how quote unquote useful would that be for AI or for any type of propaganda, for anything to happen right in the heart of downtown Chicago, for the enemy to use that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
is it like a big LED screen in a fountain area? Is that what you're talking about?
In a fountain area, yeah, but they're like 50 feet tall. They look like bricks, but they're clear bricks.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it right now.
Yeah, Vince is pulling it up as you're talking.
And then just a block away from downtown, we walked and we were having donuts and coffee at this little shop. And then a few minutes later, we thought it was a parade, but it was actually right down Michigan Street. It was a Palestinian march. And from the part that I saw of it, it was peaceful, but it was just so, it kind of scared me because I thought, oh my gosh, we're right here, anything could happen, and it just became so much more real to me.
Yeah.
It was really it just kind of made me freeze for a minute. So, I see marches on, and hateful things, happening on TV a lot, but just to see it in real life and downtown, and just when everything is people just walking around, it was just incredible in not a good way.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say expect more of that if you keep going to Chicago, Tara.
Oh, definitely. And I was thinking this is probably going to be my last time coming to Chicago.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I always go back to this when we're talking about AI and what they're doing, and the pictures that Vince just pulled up, we haven't seen that before, but in Revelation it says that he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast, that should be killed. So this is talking about the false prophet has the power to do this, and we know that the devil is going to give him those kind of powers. But when we talk about this image and how it relates to the end time prophecy in Revelation 13, this is a perfect way. This AI is a perfect way to do that. And it kind of, it reminds me of Daniel chapter 3 with the three Hebrew children, and how there was an image that they had to worship every time they played the music. They were supposed to bow down to it, and they refused and were thrown into the fiery furnace. And so you see that the enemy has this plan for the end time again, but it seems like AI could be part of the power that drives that. And it lets you know that we are right where the Lord told us to be looking for these things in the end time, and we could see how this could develop into something like that easily.
Exactly. We got to be watchful and prayerful.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your call, Tara. God bless you. We're going to come back down to Texas. Thelma's watching there. Thelma, welcome to the End Time Show.
Hello. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
What's your question today, Thelma?
No, it was a comment. I'm not one to eat a lot of steak, but, when I have a steak, I want a really good steak. I don't want something that's going to taste like a steak but isn't. I don't see how they can imitate a steak when a steak is nice and juicy and moist. How can they do that? I don't think it's possible.
Now, Thelma, you said you don't eat a lot of steak, but you're not convincing everyone out there with those comments.
No, she's describing a pretty good steak there.
Yes, but when I have a steak, I have a steak.
Gotcha.
All right, so you're not down with the 3D printed steaks then?
No, none of that.
Which means you're opposed to the world government agenda and leftist ideology. Do you know that?
I don't see how that's possible. But also, on the burger, Cricket Burger, I wouldn't even eat a garden burger, let alone a Cricket Burger.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for your perspective, Thelma. God bless you. All right, we're going to go to Missouri now. Annabelle is watching there. Annabelle, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hi, y'all.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Hope you're all doing well. I'm sure you are.
We are well, thank you.
I just want to make a comment about the 3D printing of steaks and doing away with cattle.
Yes.
You can be sure that Klaus and his associates, the higher-ups, are going to be eating steak, the real thing. I
True.
don't know if their gas will be green or not, but I'm sure they won't do without their real steaks.
Oh, I'm absolutely
well, as
positive.
they don't do without their real flying, I don't think they'll cut that out of their diet anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of jets flying up to Davos this coming weekend for the big conference on Monday. So, you know, they're not going to be restricted to flying like they want to restrict us, and they're definitely not going to be restricted to eating
right,
meat.
Exactly. I'm very much against the world order and all this garbage coming up.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Well, thank you for your call, Annabelle. We appreciate your perspective.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless you. You know, Doug, they're hypocrites is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
They aren't going to get off their planes.
Right.
Several of them own multiple planes.
Mm-hmm.
How many cars do they own? First of all, private cars, which they want to eliminate.
Right.
I guarantee you they're eating beef or all sorts of meat,
right.
dairy, all the things they want to eliminate from your diet and your comfort of living.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to continue it on, just like we've seen for years. This is no secret. You see people like John Kerry here in the States.
Yeah.
They end up with 2 or 3 mansions that use up far more fuel than what you and I will produce in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Very few houses do in a year. So,
and most of them travel in a motorcade. It's not like they just travel in one vehicle somewhere.
No.
They've got a motorcade of protection going with them. So, yeah, they're using a lot of fossil fuels while they're doing
do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
That's how they live.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're definitely not cutting meat out.
Right.
All right, we're going back to Missouri now. Mark's watching there. Mark, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Yeah. You remember the old movie Soylent Green? You remember what they made the little wafers out of? I guess they could make them look like whatever.
I've seen people put that in the chat. I have no idea what it is.
It's a movie.
Well, it's the old John Heston or whatever made it. It's pretty weird, far out there, but it's kind of true today. You know, I have another question. We're trying to figure out how this AI and all this stuff falls into it, but doesn't Scripture say someplace that the Antichrist is going to be a godly person?
A godly person?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say that he's going to be a Christian or a specific religion, but he's going to start off as a godly person, and that's going to help convince people, that he's the answer to everything.
Well, I know that he's going to claim to be God. I don't know that his characteristics will be like that. I don't know if I got scripture for that, but I do know that he calls himself God and declares that he needs to be worshipped as a God. And so he does do that. And it says that he'll corrupt many by flatteries, and he'll also come in on a platform of peace. And so he's going to seem like the answer to a lot of things. And, we've seen a lot of political leaders that have come on the scene like that seem to be the answer to all the questions. And so that's why we have such a big list of people who, they send us their idea of who the Antichrist could be. So, he'll declare to be God and be worshipped as God. So that's one of the characteristics of him.
Well, I just think, I know and I remember you guys talking about that part of it, but I'm thinking, well, this guy's got to come from that kind of state of mind. He's got to be some, person that is godly in some way, or what the world would think is godly, Buddha or whatever, or maybe it's some religion we haven't even heard of yet, maybe it's just combo religion, that's going to, be part of the world. I don't know. But
well, now his partner, the false prophet is the one that I think maybe you've heard us talk about, because it says that the false prophet will look like a lamb, but he'll speak as a dragon. And so he is going to look like a godly man, and he's going to be the one pointing the way to the Antichrist, and he'll be his partner. And so, a lot of times people think that there's only one leader there, but we see in Scripture, they are both thrown into the lake of fire at the end at the Battle of Armageddon. So we see that the beast and the false prophet, we know that there's two, and they rule together. You know, kind of like the ruling empire of the Holy Roman Empire. It was always ran by a political leader and a spiritual leader. So there will be both elements there. Of course, they won't be of God. They'll try to appear that they are, because it says he looks like a lamb. But when he talks, you'll definitely be able to tell by his fruits that he is of the dragon and not the Lord. So,
right. Well, hey, don't have one of those 3D printer birthday cakes for your birthday, buddy.
I'm going to try not to. I'm going to stick to the real deal.
Thanks for your call, Mark. God bless you. Doug, it's going to be your birthday here for a good while.
I hope not.
I even saw somebody put in the comments, happy belated birthday, Dave.
Well, there you go.
They're really belated on Dave.
They are, because this is in August.
Yeah. So, or they think,
or they're real early.
Hey, in honor of Doug's birthday, come out to the conference in Dallas.
Yeah, sure.
So Dave and Janet will be in Dallas, Texas this coming weekend, specifically Garland. I'll be there. A number of other team members, including Judy Baxter, she'll be there. So Saturday night, Sunday night, 6 p.m., Dave will be teaching about the green horse in World War III, a brand new lesson. You will be informed when you leave, that's for sure. And then also Breaking Prophecy News Sunday night. Go to endtime.com/events to learn more about the specifics, or give us a call at 800-ENDTIME. All right, Doug, lots to talk about that we did today. How do we wrap up the show?
Well, I want to mention this real quick about the conference, too, just so that people understand this is your opportunity, if you go to that, to sign up to be in the brand new Understanding the End Time Bible Study.
For free.
For free. They'll start that there at North Cities. That's our home church, and they will start a Bible study up there. And you can go, if you have not had a chance to look at that Bible study yet, or to receive the book or anything like that, this is your opportunity to go every week and see the video, have discussion time about it, and get a handout that will help you to understand the scriptures that were talked about there, and learn a lot. So it's definitely worth it. It's a free conference, so it's not costing you anything. It's a free Bible study.
We used to joke and say this really should cost you like $5,000.
Right.
There's decades of experience put into forming this series to help inform people, but it's free. The church has made it available for free, and these groups are happening all over the United States and even around the world, Doug. There's nothing like being in community with people, especially during these tough times that we're going through now. I mean, people are struggling, and it is time like never before that you need to be engaged in the community, and there's going to be some like-minded folks here in the Dallas area. There's a number of groups in Dallas, but this one's specifically starting up very soon. Come to the conference for those details. All right, you said that about the conference. Now how do we wrap the show up?
Okay, so I just want to remind everybody, that we know world government's coming, but the Lord told us what to expect and how to avoid being part of that by getting your name written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And so if you will do that, if you'll go to endtime.com and look at, what is it?
Endtime.com/reborn.
/reborn, there you go. So that's how you get your name in the Lamb's Book of Life. You read through there and understand that. Give us a call if you don't, and we'll help you out.
All right, we'll be right back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. While you're at endtime.com/reborn, don't forget watch.endtime.com. Thousands of hours of content, totally free. The show's totally free because of partners like you that give every single month at endtime.com/give. Sign up to be a partner today. Support us so we continue to do this show for free. We'll see you here tomorrow. God bless.